and welcome or welcome back to Budget with Rose. So, I want to officially welcome and thank all my new subscribers for joining the community. I really appreciate you all. So, as my budgeting period comes to an end for the month of February, it's time to reconcile expenses and income. So, in this video, I'll be showing how I close my personal finances for the month. It's going to be a little bit different from the way that I closed January. So please come along if this sounds like something that you're interested in, or if you just want to send some support my way. So let's get started. So you are looking at my February budget worksheet. And the first thing that I do when I'm closing is to review my spreadsheet. So I went ahead and I did my review and I did my updates because in the previous video I did the actuals for the paycheck that I received for February 29th, which would have covered March 1st through the 14th. So we'll be focusing on the monthly total section of the budget worksheet. Okay, so we are basically looking at the difference between the actual spending for the month and the budgeted spending for the month to see where I've overspent or where I've underspent. Okay, so I budgeted $6,281.18 for income for the month of February. The actual income was $6,481.16, and the actual is based on repayment for cell phone and the amount that I transferred from my expense cushion. So I'm counting the amount that I transferred from my expense cushion because that amount is coming from my January paycheck. So it has nothing to do with February, and I want to keep everything different. So that's how I come up with the 6,481 and 16 cents. So that's 100% of my income. Moving along to my first category, which is housing and general expense. So I do line item comparison. So for rent, that came in at 0. There's no difference there. Paid in full. Water, no difference. Paid in full, so that's going to be 0 difference as well. Gas, I did not budget for gas, but I paid 100, so you'll see 100 difference right there because there was nothing budgeted for gas. Electricity, we are on a payment arrangement for that. Internet was paid in full, so there's no difference. Cell phone is the same. Fuel for the cars, I have a difference of $149.79 because for my last period I forgot to budget for fuel for the cars. You can see right here for the February 29th paycheck. So there's a difference of $149.79 right there. Groceries, a difference of $13.61. For car insurance, that came in on target for $393.13. No budget was made, nothing was spent for medical expense, life insurance, and uh, prescription. So the amount budgeted for the housing and general expense category was $2,369.36, but I spent $2,632.76. That's a difference of $263.40 over the amount that I budgeted, and this $2,632.76 is actually 40.62% of the total income for the month. Okay. Nothing was budgeted under savings and investment. Um, $30 was budgeted under personal and discretionary, and that $30 was used in full, and that's 0.46% of total income for the month. Moving on to the debt category of my budget, we budgeted $4,122.15, and I actually spent $3,802.42. So let's walk through each line item. So both cars came in on target using the split pay method. Credit card, I budgeted $1,929.89. Actually spent $1,610.16. So for the first paycheck in February, I underspent by $106.52, and for the last period, with the payment arrangement for Uplift, I underspent by $213.19. Let me see what comment I have here. Okay, that's a note about the Uplift payment. And making notes in your budget is something that is necessary, because you are making note of any discrepancies, any unexpected expenses, any unexpected shift in your budget, but you want to go ahead and make a note so that when you're reviewing, especially when it comes to doing everything for your annuals, then you know why you did what was done for that particular period. Personal loan came in on target for $1,242, and that again is on the split pay method. I did not put anything in extra debt payment, so that that line item comes in at 0. So the difference between the actual spent and the amount budgeted is $319.73, and in for overall, the actual amount spent in comparison to income is 58.67% of income was spent in the debt category. For sinking funds, $13.06 was transferred from my first budget for the period, and you'll see that $13.06 reflected here as well, because it wasn't used. That's the only amount that's in the expense cushion to date, because everything else was used up on my February 29th budget. For miscellaneous, the only line item on the miscellaneous that was allocated any funding was subscription. That's a total. I budgeted $6.99, but I actually spent $15.98 for subscription. That's because in the first half of the month I didn't remember about my $8.99 subscription, so that was paid and captured. So subscription is 0.25% of my overall income for the month of February. Okay, so that's how I conduct my closing and comparing my actuals versus my income, and just to see what percentage of each category was used in comparison to income. So to wrap this video up, just remember that closing out your monthly budget by reconciling your expenses and income, making any necessary adjustments, and reflecting on your spending habits allows you to track your progress. Whether you're just budgeting because you want to know where each dollar is going, or whether you're on a debt free journey and you want to see how much you can get your cash flow in check, it is necessary to close out your monthly budget. And you can do it the way that you feel most comfortable doing. I think just as long as you are comparing your budgeted amount versus your actual amount spent to see where you're overspending or where you're underspending. So by taking these proactive steps, you are actively managing your finances, staying accountable for your financial goals, and ultimately working towards long-term financial stability. So with that said, thank you for joining me on this video. I'm doing an overview and closing out my February 2024 budget. Remember that every financial decision you make today shapes your financial future. So thank you, and see you in the next video.